Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are catching me live or after we upload this. Took last week off, had the wife, my beautiful, lovely, well, I'll let you fill in the rest. Wife had the week off, so I decided to spend some time with her and my son, Thanksgiving and all that. But we're back on, going to be doing the shows live going up into Christmas. Tough time for a lot of people. We're going to be talking about how to manage holiday depression and anxiety. Again, my name's Dr. Stephen Walker. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I'm on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, talking about mental health, talking about what's on your mind, trying to normalize conversations about mental health and mental illness, because again, we all have a degree of mental illness. We all have a degree of mental health that we're not working on. So the problem, again, like I've talked about many times, is that we don't talk about it. People don't like to talk about what's on their mind. And Thanksgiving and Christmas are notorious for people feeling down and depressed and feeling as though they have no reason to live. A lot of people have fragmented relationships with their families. A lot of people are struggling with just this whole COVID thing and not being able to see their families. So I'm going to open up. I'm going to have some guests on later in the week, but today I want to just talk about whatever is on your mind, whatever you're struggling with. But before I get started, I want to read a question I received from somebody who wanted just some advice, and I'll read it to you because this is kind of typical of what a lot of people go through, and they just don't know what to do with it. So the person asked me not to disclose their name. So, hi, my name is blank. I'm diagnosed with general anxiety. I have a therapist almost a year and a half now, but I don't see much progress. I'm even getting worse. I'm so embarrassed with my family that I'm not doing better. I want to ask you how I feel this way, even with 4 different medications. Problem number 1, I'm taking for anxiety and depression. My biggest concern is that I have feelings about touching somebody inappropriately or throwing myself from the car when my husband is driving. That is the scariest thing that I'm going through. Can you please answer me why I feel this way and why? I'm so scared and alone, not knowing what is wrong with me. Please, if you can explain on your next broadcast, but please don't say my full name, and God bless you. Sure, no problem. Great question, because this is exactly why I'm doing these broadcasts. Hey, Fernando, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. Glad you're back. But to the person who wrote this, okay, I don't want to say nothing is wrong with you, but the feelings you're having could be a combination of your medication. It could be a combination of unworked out things that you have to deal with. The first thing I would figure out is from your therapist is, are you guys talking about why you need 4 medications? What is going on with your depression and anxiety? Or I think it was just anxiety, right? And depression. What is causing that? Okay. What is causing that? EOB, I'll just use initials here. EOB, what is causing that? Why are you on 4 medications? These medications, a lot of times, and again, I'm not anti-medication, I'm not saying that, but what I am anti is overprescribing medication for things that could be handled in many other ways, things that could be handled without medication. The problem with medication is it's not the medication itself, it's how it's prescribed. So the first thing I would say to you, EOB, is you got to get into what is causing you to need the medication. Now, you're saying you've been with a therapist for a year and a half. I would definitely go into my next therapy session and say that. We've been talking for a year and a half, and I feel like I'm not making much progress. I feel like I'm not getting any better. If on a weekly basis, whenever I'm checking in with a client and with a new session, the first thing I'm asking is, what's going on? How are you feeling? Do you feel we're making progress? What do we need to work on? Do we need to reset our goals? Give me some feedback about what we're doing. The problem I'm seeing in this message, EOB, is that there is something going on underneath of the medication that is causing you to either want to touch people inappropriately or throw yourself out of the car. These are issues that you need to bring up with your therapist and talk openly about what is causing you to feel this way. I don't know if you have trauma from your past. I don't know if there's something going on that is causing you to be anxious. I don't know if there are things in your relationship with your husband. I don't know if you guys are fighting. But all I'll say to you is this, EOB, do not give up, okay? Do not give up on trying to figure out why you're feeling this way. A lot of the reasons why we need medications or people take medications is because they're in the dark. They're like, am I going crazy? Why am I like this? I don't know why I feel this way. You got to spend some time figuring it out, okay? So if you want to follow up on any of these questions I'm asking you, feel free to send me some more messages. But the thing I'm going to encourage you to do, brother or sister, is I don't know who's prescribing these medications, number one. I don't know if it's a psychiatrist. I don't know if it's a general practitioner. I don't know if it's a psychiatric nurse. I don't know what is going on. But I'm hoping that whoever is prescribing you 4 different medications for anxiety and depression, I just hope they have some training in mental health. Okay. And somebody might hear that who's never taken medication and go, well, wait a minute. How can people who have no experience or training in mental health be prescribing mental health medication? Exactly the problem in this field is you've got physicians, you've got people who have zero experience in mental health prescribing these medications. So I would definitely, whoever you're prescribing these medications from or whoever is prescribing them to you, you need to have a consultation with them and tell them exactly what's going on and talk about these side effects. Okay, so I hope that helped. Again, tonight's topic is how to manage holiday depression and anxiety. So let's get into that a little bit, but I'm getting another question from Aaron's just asking me when I'm going on. Okay, Aaron, well, I'm here, man. So, I'd really like to hear, Aaron, how you and your sister are doing. Because, we were talking about some, I think that was you and your sister. Yeah, but we've been talking about some things with Aaron, and I appreciate you coming back, Aaron. So feel free to send me some questions. So let's talk a little bit about how to manage holiday depression and anxiety. And this is a huge topic. This is why I'm going to be doing the whole week on it and probably in and out for the, leading up into Christmas. And again, if you're watching this live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, this is a live broadcast. These live streams rely on you engaging with me. So if you're struggling with something, if you have a question about anything, it can be completely off topic. It can be something you've always wanted to get some psychological or emotional guidance from a licensed professional on. Hit me up with a question, okay? So how do we manage holiday anxiety and depression? And again, anyone has a comment about what I'm talking about, a question, please chime in, because remember, I am not going to just be another talking head on the internet, blah, 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 blah. I want you guys to engage with me. This is why I'm doing this, so people can talk about what's on their mind. So what I found in my 20 plus years of doing this with depression and anxiety around holidays and seasonal things like that are, some are biological, there's seasonal affective disorder, the sun sets sooner, so we don't have light. So that has an effect on us. The days can be grayer, that can affect us. It's colder, things like that. You're staying inside more. All of those things are on a biological level. I'm going to sideline those for a second. I'm going to talk about the emotional and psychological. Let's break it down bit by bit. So one of the things I've noticed that happens with people who are depressed around holidays is it's a multifaceted thing, but I'm going to stick to a couple different strains here. A lot of times what I've found is if you're depressed, let's say you're depressed about the seasons because you don't have any family or you're not close with your family. Let's just target in on that for a second. If somebody is estranged from their family, they're going to be flooded with memories of better times. They're going to be flooded with things that they remember when things were better. So what's that going to kick off in them? That's going to kick off guilt. That's going to kick off sadness because they're going to be longing for something that they don't have now. Now, what happens a lot of times when somebody is sad or depressed is they start beating themselves up. They start saying that it's their fault. They should be doing something different. They should have done this. They should have done that. Then you have this constant bombardment of commercials and family is everything and holidays together and the commercial of everyone sitting around the dinner table eating and all of this, okay? These are the things that people are comparing their present reality to. They are using that as sort of a benchmark of what their life is. So if you're depressed around the holidays, specific to a lack of family connections, and again, there are a lot of different reasons people get depressed. Some people get depressed because they have to hang out with their family. Some people get depressed because they get anxious because they got to go deal with their family. We're going to get to that, maybe not tonight, but we're going to get to that. But right now, I want to just talk specifically about people out there who don't have strong connections with their family and they feel guilty or bad about that. Okay. So you've got to get into why you're feeling guilty. Okay, people, you've got to get into why am I feeling depressed? Why am I feeling anxious about being alone on the holiday? What have I learned about being alone? What does alone mean to me? You know, we have a culture that really pushes this idea that the more friends you have, the more value you have as a human being. So one of the things I encourage a lot of people to do is to look at their belief system about what it means to be alone. If you're alone on the holidays, what does that mean to you? Does that mean you're a loser? Does that mean that nobody loves you? What does it mean to you to not be loved? A lot of depression is being fed by a faulty belief system. And not just that, but it's a combination of a lot of things. And that faulty belief system then creates a set of feelings. Remember, we talked about cognitive behavioral psychology, the ABCs of thinking: activating event, belief, consequence. Something activates us. The holiday season, that's the activating event. We impose a belief system upon that. I'm alone. I don't have connections with people. I have people telling me all the time, oh, you're not close with your family. Like that's a frigging scarlet letter in our society a lot of times. A lot of times if you're not close with your family, people immediately assume, what did you do? There's something you've done. One of the things that I've seen with a lot of people who struggle with these fragmented family ties is they get bombarded with this idea that there's something wrong with them because they're not close with their family. People don't stop and ask, well, why aren't you close with your family? So let me just pause here. And Fernando's asking or making a comment. What do you think about having the rule of no politics or religion in family conversations or gatherings? Great questions. I like it because I don't like to stress people with unsolicited, uncomfortable conversations, especially with the politics of today. Great question, my brother. You know, that's a great, I would say if people can adhere to that rule, that they're not going to talk about politics or religion, then yes. But the problem with politics and religion is, you know, it's not just politics and religion. A lot of times politics and religion are being fed by our ideologies, our philosophies, who we are as human beings. So a lot of times people who are political, they're political, but they're also philosophical because they have a set of beliefs that they feel a decent human being would only have. And I'm not saying liberals are decent and conservatives are indecent and the other way around. Conservatives are decent and the liberals are crazy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that the reason it's difficult to stay away from politics and religion is because those are core identities for people. You know what I mean? That's like a core identity. So if somebody is at a dinner table and they say, you know, these damn foreigners, I wish we could just get rid. And you're a liberal who believes that, you know, we shouldn't have open borders, but we should have, you know, this is a country of immigrants. You're going to take offense to that. And it's going to be difficult for you to stay away from that. So what I would recommend to you, Fernando, is if you're in a situation with your family and, you know, people don't share your political or religious ideology or orientation, find out what they believe. Just talk to them about what they believe. Remember, we talked about empathy in many of the previous live streams. Empathy is not agreeing with people. Okay, empathy is not agreeing with people. Empathy is trying to understand why they think that way, trying to feel for them. So maybe if the whole family is cool with not talking about politics or religion, then everyone agrees to that and they keep the conversations light. but it's very difficult to talk about, and Fernando's following up. I don't want to push my beliefs on my kids myself, but I see that giving them good values is part of being a dad. So I'm just trying to brainstorm. Yeah, it's a tough one, Fernando, because I feel what you're saying, man. Everyone feels that their beliefs and their values are correct. So if you're in a role of a parent, you're going to naturally want your child to ascribe to that. I see that with my 4-year-old. I'm not anti-consumerism and capitalism, but I think it's way too far. So I'm trying to slowly teach him, look, we don't need to buy everything. You have plenty of toys. If you want more toys, let's give some of these away. So I hear you. What I would recommend you, Fernando, I don't know how old your kids are, but talk to them about what, you go into it. Like, let's say you want to talk to them about racism or whatever it may be. Find out what their beliefs are about racism. Find out what they feel like what they feel about racism. Do they even know what racism is? So, these are excellent questions. I would recommend that you just, again, I was talking to a client patient last week about, he has to go to a wedding, and he was talking about how a lot of the people at the wedding are going to be more on the right side of politics, and he was worried about how he was going to deal with that. So in the conversation, as we spoke more, it came out that he's got this feeling that he has to change them. He has to show them the light. He has to show them the error of their ways. So that puts pressure on him, instead of just being, open and free to talk. He can't talk to them unless he has affected a change. And as we talked more and more about it, he began to realize that this is an issue within him, that he feels it's incumbent upon him to make these people see things his way. And as we talked about it more and more, he began realizing that that's not the way he does business, meaning that he tries to find out what the client needs first and then meet them in a way to meet their needs. So we talked at length about that, and he began to see that he needs to just back off of the pressure he's putting on himself to change people. So Fernando's saying 1 and 2 years old, but never too late to think about it. Absolutely. No, definitely. A lot of kids don't have a lot of memories pre-verbal. So prior to them speaking, a lot of kids don't really have a lot of memory, but I don't know how verbal they are. But you can do play therapy. You can talk to them about it. I wouldn't bombard them too much. I would find a couple of core beliefs that you feel would help them and stick to that for a little while until they get older. And then just try to find a way to find out, it's a little young at 1. I don't think my son started talking until he was a little bit after 2.5 to 3. He was learning 2 languages. So, but try to find out from them what they like, you know what I mean? Like what interests them, and then go on their level. But back to your question, about the politics or religion and family conversations at gatherings. This is a lot of things this is a lot of getting off of the other strand of not having any family to connect with, and getting to the anxiety a lot of people feel about going into these family gatherings when they have just core philosophical beliefs about that they worry, Uncle Billy or mom or dad are going to like lambaste them for. That's a difficult thing for a lot of people. The main thing I encourage people to look at is, I did a live stream a few weeks ago about spotting your projections. Okay, remember, what does that mean? Spot your projections. A projection is something from within you. So let's say I am a gay male and I'm going to my family's, right-wing gathering, and they don't like homosexuality. I have to figure out what is going on within me about my sexuality and how, I'm uncomfortable with who I am. Let's say I have other beliefs. A lot of times what happens in these gatherings when people are feeling anxious about being around their family is they have unworked out stuff in them that is like an open button to their family that they know they can press. So Fernando's chiming in saying, I understand your story. I see myself afraid of using my role as a father to push ideals. I don't think it's fair, as my father used use that in arguments to think I should buy into his belief. Okay, bro, well, right there. And it's funny, this is exactly what I'm talking about spotting your projection. This is a projection from within you, bro. You've got your father's influence on you, negative influence on you. It sounds like your father was very controlling and use that in arguments to think that I should like coercing you to believe in what you should believe. That is going to prevent you from doing or engaging with your kids about what you want them. I don't want to say what you want them to believe, but talking to them about what's important and what you feel would help them grow as a human being. You do not have to go black or white, brother. You don't have to think that just because you're going to want to impart to your kids some ideals and beliefs you have, that now I'm like my dad. It seems like you're worried about becoming your father. And maybe there's some issues there that your father was abusive or controlling, or maybe you guys aren't that close now, or whatever it may be. But just remember, just because you're like your parents in some ways doesn't mean you are your parents. This is a very black or white thing. I see a lot of people struggling with. If they have a negative relationship with if you had a positive relationship with your dad, you wouldn't even question this, right, Fernando? You wouldn't even wonder why you're hesitant to talk to your kids about what you want to teach them, because you don't want to be like your dad. You don't want that. You're not going to be your dad, brother. The fact that you're even talking about this openly on this live stream, your dad wouldn't have done that in a million years. I'm sure what I would encourage you to do, Fernando, is make a list of all the ways you're not like your dad. Okay, make a list of all the ways that you're already not like your father. And then that's going to allow you to be like him, in quotes, like him in certain ways. I don't think you should look at teaching your kids pushing ideals. I mean, let's take the example I use with my 4-year-old about consumerism and capitalism and all that. I'm not an anti-capitalist. I'm not a socialist and all this, far right-wing ideals of liberals and all that. I lean more liberal, but I've got a lot of conservative beliefs. But let's take my training him or teaching him about capitalism and the effects of just nonstop consumerism and the effect on this planet. Just looking at it on a planetary, pollution wise, the amount of pollution that's produced by our constant need to consume. This is something I firmly believe in, that if we could stop buying so much crap all the time, we wouldn't have all of this junk filling and all this pollution. So I want him to learn the value of appreciating things and not needing more things. Now, whether or not I should or shouldn't be doing that, I'm going to do it anyhow, because that's the way I feel we need to wake up as a society. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever looked into just the amount of pollution caused by clothing. People look at plastics and garbage and all this stuff. The amount of pollution that's being caused by constantly buying clothes is ridiculous. So using that as an example, I want my son to be aware of that. Now when we're walking, he'll see a piece of litter and he'll go, "Daddy, look at what somebody did. Litter. What is it?" And he's already aware of that. So, Fernando, I think you need to find a middle ground between not pushing any ideals and needing to be like your dad, bro. Okay, because I'm okay being like him in some ways. Good. Then allow yourself to be like him in some ways in the way of guiding your children. We need to be more actively involved in guiding our children. This idea of just planting kids in front of iPads and just, acting as though we're single or not in a relationship or don't have kids is just ridiculous. We need to find, now, if you're teaching your kids, hatred, hate whitey or hate blackie or hate Spanisher or whoever we like to teach people to hate, yeah, man, you need to question that crap, because that's a belief system that you learn from somebody else. There are no born racists. I'm sorry. There are no born racists. Kids are not born hating the other kids because they're black or white or women or men or gay or straight or whatever. That's all learned behavior. Kids see differences, attractiveness, white, black, but they don't see superiority until somebody teaches them that. So Fernando, good. I think my fear of not being like him helps me be better. Thanks for that advice. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you, brother. Trust me. My dad was not, if I had my father the way I'm trying to raise my son, I'd be very different in many ways. Okay. So yes, the number one thing my father taught me was how I did not want to be a father. So that is something that, yeah, absolutely. But I would just, pump the brakes on this fear of teaching them, or that you're going to, coerce them into being something like your dad. That sounds like again, a projection that I was talking about. So again, Fernando, thank you for all your engagement. If anyone else is out there on Facebook or Twitter, please engage with me. This is not about me just talking. So Aaron is saying, any advice on how to be there for my friends going through seasonal depression, even though I'm going through it myself? Excellent question, Aaron. So again, Aaron, I would, just first get into what is depressing you. Identify within your mind what is bringing you down. And I think, you and I, we've talked before about some loss you've gone through and some issues with growing up and things like that. So how to be there with your friends going through seasonal depression? You guys talk about what you're depressed about. Have a conversation about what's bringing you down. This is another thing people don't seem to like to do. They don't like to show weakness. They don't like to show that they're depressed, that they're down about something. Big mistake, people, because like Aaron's saying, somebody could be like, oh, dude, man, I'm so glad to hear that, because talk about it. Talk to your friends about what you're depressed about, which again segues into what I was talking about before about how to manage holiday depression and anxiety. Talk the stuff out. Talk it out. Get it out of you. So Aaron, what's depressing you? What is going on with your depression? Like, why are you feeling depressed right about the seasons? What is happening? The holidays will ignite all kinds of negativity in you that you haven't dealt with. So like I was saying before, if you don't have a particularly close relationship with your family, that's going to be something you're guilty about. Because, if you, let's say, and I've heard this from many clients who struggle with this, who aren't close with their mothers or fathers or whatever. And then people are like, you're not, what? That's your mother. That's your father. And they don't realize that just because you had a positive relationship with your mother and father, and they engendered a feeling of closeness within you, not everyone had that. So when you come to somebody and go, wow, that's your mom, and you feel that way, or you're judging them. Okay, you're judging them. You're making them feel like there's something wrong with them because they didn't maybe get what they needed growing up, or maybe they gave people multiple chances to get their act together and they just continued to violate their boundaries and hurt them and let them down and do things that cause them pain. This is something I've heard over and over and over from clients, is they feel so guilty that they're not closer with their family. And the holidays and seasons like Thanksgiving, Christmas will trigger that crap to an nth degree. And there are multiple layers of holiday depression and anxiety. We're talking about a very small sliver, because some people may be depressed because they're away from their family. They're abroad. They're military people. They had to work, or they can't. So those are other aspects that we're going to get to. But right now, what we're targeting in on is are those feelings that people feel when they're not close with their family. That's a very difficult thing for many people who are close to their family to identify with. And then the people who are close with their family look at people who aren't close to their family like there's something wrong with that person. And what they're not understanding is that person did not arrive at not being close to their family on their own. Now, if your family was a very loving, close, accepting, there was a lot of love, you felt like you had a lot of love growing up, and now you're not close to them, then that is something more internal to you. That is something that you need to get into and figure and try to figure out what is going on. You know, a lot of separation in families is caused by unworked out stuff, unworked out pain, pain that has been accumulating for years and years and years. And I don't know how you all grew up, but I certainly did not grow up in a communicative family where we were communicating and people were talking about how they feel and a lot, and we're expressing emotion. I didn't have almost any of that, especially from my father. So I didn't have a role model of, again, going back to Fernando's point, I am trying to be the opposite of that with my son. I am trying to not constantly, but very frequently check in with him and ask him, how you feeling, buddy? Are you okay? Are you mad about Papa or Mama about something? Is something upsetting you, or what's going on with you? Or you know, if because my wife and I do have occasional marital eruptions, you know, as most couples do, and if he hears that, I check in with him the next day and ask him what that's like, if he's upset about something, and we talk about it. So what I would encourage everybody, or the people who are not close to their family, is you need to take it easy on yourself during the holidays. You need to remind yourself of why you're not close. And a lot of families who haven't dealt with these underlying issues are really good at gaslighting people. Okay, now remember what gaslighting is. Gaslighting is making a person feel that they are the problem. It's all their craziness. It's all their issues. Yes, we all have issues, but gaslighters who don't deal with their own issues will always point the finger at you and say, it's you. No, 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 no. It's not me. It's you. You're the problem. And when you're dealing with that over the holidays, that's going to compound it. And we got this frigging coronavirus now, which is just making the situation even worse, because now people are not able to be around their family if they are close with them, because they don't want anything to happen to them. So there are just multiple layers here. So let me just pause for a second. Aaron's following up. A lot of my seasonal depression. Thanks, Aaron, because this is exactly why I'm doing this. Aaron and Fernando, exactly why. And if it's only two people asking questions, I'll keep doing the live streams. But this is about you all talking about your mental illness. Everybody has a degree of mental illness. Everybody. Hey, Tawanya, that was funny. I still crack myself up over that. Tanya, hi Tanya, how are you? Anyway, let me get back to Aaron. A lot of my seasonal depression comes from missing my best friend who passed away in 2017. Yep. I also feel very alone during holidays because of being single. I feel you, brother. I do. So what I would recommend for you is, you know, a couple of questions I would have you maybe simmer on is, when your friend passed away in 2017, was there some unfinished business? Did you guys fight right before he or she passed away? Like, are you feeling guilty? If it's not anything relating to something you feel bad about, what is it that you're missing about them? Get into those feelings, feel that, talk to them. I had, you know, one of my dearest and closest friends passed away many years ago from testicular cancer, named my son after him. Still talk to him, still kind of look at him like my son's spiritual godfather. Talk to them. There's nothing wrong in your mind talking to your friend, talking to them as though they can hear you. Nothing wrong with that. You're not crazy. If you're crazy, everyone on the friggin' planet who has lost somebody close to them is crazy. There's nothing wrong with that. That actually helps you work through the loss. As far as the being alone during holidays because you're single, that's a whole nother issue, Aaron, that I think you should address. Like, why am I still single? I don't know how old you are. I got married late in life, in my late 30s. So I know what it's like to either be, you know, in and out. I was not in and out of multiple relationships, but I was in long-term relationships and then they ended and blah, blah, blah. But Aaron, I would ask you why, you know, meaning you're asking yourself, why are you single? Are there some self-esteem issues that you're struggling with? Like, who would love me? Why would anyone want to be with me? What is it going on that's preventing you from being single? You know, I don't know what your feelings are about some of the dating apps and things like that. I happen to have no issue with them. I'm not a big one on the hookup, you know, Tinders and all this. All of that has never really been my thing, but I would look at what's preventing you from getting you're 26. Okay, he's saying no, not guilty. It was a very traumatic experience for me, though. We were roommates, and I came home from work, and he was passed away on the couch. Damn, bro. That's heavy, man. That is heavy. So you found him on the couch, passed away. I don't know if he committed suicide or whatever, but yeah, that's going to stick with you if you're not talking it out, brother. I don't know how many you said on 2017, so 3 years ago. Yeah. You definitely have a little post-traumatic stress going on there, dude. I don't know if it, I haven't assessed you or talked to you, so I don't know if it's post-traumatic stress disorder, but it definitely sounds like a little bit of post-traumatic stress. So I would recommend to you, and again, guys, if you're watching this, please share this broadcast, okay? Please, because we need to bring in more people and talking about their mental health. It sounds like you've got a little post-traumatic stress there, Aaron. I don't know if you processed any of that with anybody, but if you haven't, you should. Okay, you really should process some of that because that is affecting you. The traumatic memories. Hey, Rasmus, how you doing, man? From YouTube. All right, cool. Please share this. We're talking about where's my thing? How to manage holiday depression, anxiety. So, Aaron, I would definitely say, bro, you got to talk about that traumatic memory because I'm sure it's playing out in your mind. I don't know if you're part of post-traumatic stress. And I'm not saying you have post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, remember, trauma's on a spectrum, people. On one side of the trauma spectrum, or on this side is post-traumatic stress disorder. On this side is post-traumatic growth. In between here is where you need to do the work. So again, Aaron, I would try to find somebody licensed, somebody who maybe does online. I've moved my entire practice online now. I'm not saying me. This is an infomercial for, I'm blessed with having plenty of people to work with. So, but I'm just saying, find somebody who you can talk to about some of those memories, bro. If you're having nightmares about it, that's a way your brain is trying to deal with it by exposing yourself to it. So I would definitely work on talking out some of that trauma so you can start moving out of post-traumatic growth. But again, I'm going to get to your question in a second, Tanya. Thank you. What I would recommend, though, for the dating thing, brother, is you got to get into whatever self-esteem issues you're going through that are making you feel bad about Aaron. Okay, you've got to deal with a lot of what is happening to you internally about yourself. You know, you guys have heard me say it before. If you've watched any of the previous live streams, about your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship. Why is Aaron, I don't know if you feel you're ugly or too fat or overweight. I shouldn't use fat. I apologize. But overweight or too short, or, you know, maybe you don't have any hair, or maybe your teeth aren't perfect, or whatever it may be. But something is causing you to feel bad about you. And I don't know if it's the pain from your roommate. Maybe that loss made you believe, oh, no, hell no, man. I'm not getting close to anybody. I ain't getting close to anybody because people die and I don't want to go through this again. That's a form of post-traumatic stress, brother. That's called avoidance. You're avoiding not only the memory of your roommate passing away, but you're avoiding putting yourself in situations where you could lose somebody again. You got to work through some of that, brother. Okay, there are a lot of online people, licensed people. I don't know if you have health insurance. Call your health insurance and find out what benefits, what mental health benefits you have, and use them. Do not be afraid. I'm telling you, man, like if I'm a dentist and you're telling me your tooth is hurting, go to a friggin' dentist, bro, because and get it treated. Now, that's a whole nother issue. People have fears of doctors. I get that. But if you're still hurting from something like this, Aaron, you got to find some help, man. You got to work on what is causing you to still be ruminating and feeling this. A lot of trauma is associated with not working on it. Okay. First things first, Aaron, massive doses of the It's Okay pill. Remember, what's the It's Okay pill? It's okay that I'm still hurting from the loss of my roommate. It's okay. I'm not going to hate myself. I'm not going to hate how I feel, but I got to work on that. Okay. I got to work on that. You got to work on those feelings, brother. They're pumping out infection in you, man, like a cut on your finger or something. And this starts getting infected. It starts pumping out infection into my hand and in my arm and down it's the same thing with unhealed emotional wounds, guys. The ones that are pumping out these emotional pain and poison into your stream of consciousness. Okay. You got to work on it. Nothing wrong with the fact that's a traumatic thing, brother. Dude, let me tell you something, man. Witnessing death like you did, that is high on the list of traumas. That's like 8, 9. I mean, this is why people come back from war messed up. See, I'm trying not to curse, messed up, because they see death all around them and it messes them up. It completely messes them up. And then they're soldiers, and I've worked with tons of soldiers. Oh, I'm a ranger. I can't be feeling like this. I'm a pussy. I can't be. And then that compounds it because they're hating themselves for feeling this way. Aaron, my brother, you got to work on it. Okay? You got to work on those feelings, that trauma. That's a trauma in you. I mean, my God, coming home and finding him dead on the couch, dude, that is, I'm telling you, as a licensed mental health person, brother, that's high on the spectrum, the scale of trauma. Okay? All right. So let me know how that goes. And, I appreciate you being part of the live streams, bro. Tawanya. Oh, sorry. When I'm around my family and I speak my mind due to their criticism, they always tell me I am crazy or starting trouble. They never want to hear me. Gaslighting. I don't know how you're coming at them, Tanya, but you're definitely, maybe you're coming at them in a very aggressive way and that shuts them down. Try coming at them in a way that you ask them, hey guys, I'm curious about something. Every time I speak my mind about or about how you guys criticize me, you always point the finger back at me and tell me I'm crazy or starting trouble. And I feel like you never want to hear me. What's up with that? Can we talk about that? Oh, there you go again, Tanya. You're starting trouble. I'm not starting trouble, but you're doing the exact same thing that you're accusing me of. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Try to engage with them, Tanya, one-on-one. Maybe you're coming at them in a group, or maybe you're at a family event where everyone's supposed to be having fun and you're still hurting from this. And then they're feeling like, oh, there she goes again. So Tanya's following up. I never had a voice growing up and probably do come off harsh. Well, the harshness, my sister, is, and I'm sorry I call everyone brother and sister. It's just my thing. I honestly feel connected to people, and we're all brothers and sisters. So if that bothers people, I'm sorry. But anyway, the harshness you're talking about, Tanya, is pain. The anger. Remember, anger is a secondary emotion, people. Okay, anger is a secondary emotion. The primary emotion is pain. Tanya, for a minute, think about what you were going through as a kid, never having a voice when you were growing up. That's pain. My dad was a bully too. Well, there you go. I'm sure you have problems being in a relationship with a man. Not your fault, sister, not your fault. I'm curious, did you ask for a bully father? Did you ask for these wounds? Did you ask to still be suffering from this? No. So you've got to deal with, and I'm going to get Rasmus, I'm going to get to your question in a second, or your comment. But, Tanya, you got to work on, again, you guys hear me default to certain core principles that I have when I'm working with people is Tanya's relationship with Tanya. Tanya, I guarantee you, not guarantee you because I don't really know you, we haven't talked, but if you had a bully as a father, then odds are you're bullying yourself a lot too. Odds are your relationship with yourself is pretty harsh, meaning that you're very hard on yourself. You set unrealistic expectations. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid to not be perfect because you're having issues with Ivan's chiming in. Hey, Ivan, never seen you here before, but welcome, man. Thanks for joining us. Please share this if you guys are watching this, because we need to normalize these types of conversations. Ivan is saying, I had no voice and I was raised by my mom and older sister. There you go. And Tanya's saying, I'm hard on myself. How did I know that? I know that because I am the preeminent psychologist on the planet. No, I'm not that. I'm joking. How do I know that? Because I know the patterns. People who are bullied bully themselves because the father is making Tanya feel that the only way she's going to feel love or feel loved is if she's perfect, if she never is, makes a mistake. And these are issues that you need to work on, Tanya. I don't know if you've worked on them. At times, I don't want to be around my family. Exactly. And you know why that is, Tanya? Because you're a messed up, pathetic individual. Wrong. I'm sure that's what you're telling yourself or other people are telling you. You don't want to be around your family because they're continuing to hurt you. You're not the issue, really. I mean, we're all issues, but it sounds like if they're still like, oh, there she goes again. Tanya's got, that's gaslighting, people. That's a family that doesn't want to deal with the issues. They just want you to forgive and forget and just get over it. And that is the hallmark of an abuser. Remember, there's scales of abuse. But the abuser will tell you, why are you letting me have this much control over you? You should be over this. This is your issue. While they continue to hurt you. Okay, Tanya. So you need to take it easy on yourself. I'm hard on myself. Remember, you said that? You need to slowly move into, it's okay that I feel this way. I didn't ask for these wounds. I didn't sign up for having a bully of a father. I didn't. But it's okay that this is still affecting me. But sister, you got to work on it. You got to find a way to talk out some of this crap that you're still feeling with. And when I say crap, I mean not crap like you shouldn't feel it. I mean crap as though you got dumped a lot of crap onto you. One of the metaphors I use a lot is think of yourself as a little kid and people start throwing crap at you, literally throwing. Just imagine a child, they're throwing crap, I mean, literally throwing feces at the child. And the child starts smelling the caked on crap. So what does this child start thinking about themselves? Oh, I'm a piece of shit. I'm just crap. When what they're identifying with is that surface layer of conditioned shit that is given to people that people don't wash the hell off and work through it. And that's what working with a mental health person will help you do. It'll help you get through a lot of that surface conditioning so that you can get to what, maybe people have heard is that authentic sense of who you are. I'm the oldest too and used to be extremely shy. Sure. So let me guess something here, Tanya, and tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Yeah, I've been saying be kind to yourself. Not so easy, brother, when you don't know how to do it, but that's good advice. You're the oldest too and used to be extremely shy. Let me guess, Tanya, you were also probably parentified. Excuse me. What is parentified? Parentified is the oldest kid is put in a role of parent, given way too much responsibility. Excuse me. That's another thing, another form of abuse a lot of kids go through, is they're parentified. They're given way too much responsibility early on. And that sets up perfectionism, people. I gotta be perfect because if something happens to one of my siblings, it's my fault. Yes, at times she's saying, guess what, people who were parentified out there? It ain't your goddamn fault. If something happened to those kids when you were a kid, it wouldn't have been your fault. It was your parents' fault. And people will say, well, they didn't want to. Oh, so another wrinkle. Tanya saw domestic violence. And let me just finish that thought. They didn't want to parentify me. They had to. I'm sorry. Most kids who are parentified, the parents are taking advantage of a situation to put the role in that. And I know a lot of single parents. I get it. You got no choice sometimes. I feel you. If you're a parent and you're putting too much pressure on your young child to take care of things around the house as form of a parent, you need to start talking to them. You need to start letting them know, hey, look, I need your help here, but if something happens, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I brought you into the world. So Tanya, if you saw domestic violence, I don't know how bad it was, sister, but your parents had you young when they were 18 and 19. Yeah, that's a recipe for some challenges. So I don't know if you guys know this, but if I have a physical confrontation with my wife in front of my son, so if I hit her or she's hitting me or whatever it may be, it's never happened. Thankfully, we've had our moments, trust me, but we're like every other person that wasn't raised well. We got to work that crap out. But anyway, if I or she beats me up, or if she beats me up in front of my son and somebody reports that and the cops come and realize that she beat me up in front of my son. Not only can she be taken away, but guess what? They can take the kid. That's child abuse now. So Tanya, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but you had a form of child abuse, sister, growing up. Okay. It's good that it stopped and they're still together, but I don't think you've really conceptualized yourself as an abused kid to a degree. Remember, abuse is on a spectrum, people. It's not all or nothing. It's not black or white. I was either abused or I wasn't. There's a degree of abuse that I'm hearing in you, Tanya, and I'm feeling a lot of self-abuse. I don't know what your relationships are with men now, or I don't know if you're a mom, or I don't know anything about that, but I'm guessing that some of this has a way of creeping into your current relationships. Let me pause with you and let me get back to Rasmus. I hope you're still there, Rasmus. You still there? Anyway, I have never experienced holiday depression. Oh, lucky you. But then I have had severe depression for most of my life, no matter holiday or not. Okay, well, good. That's great that you haven't experienced holiday depression. It's interesting that you're saying you've had severe depression for most of your life. So I'm guessing what I'm hearing you say is during the holidays, it abates to a degree. It kind of like ebbs out, which is cool. That means if I had to speculate here, I would guess you probably have a close family. So you guys all get together, or you have a good circle of friends that, you get together and it abates. But Rasmus, bro, if you're, and I'm assuming you're a guy because Rasmus sounds like a guy's name. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Not a lot, but I'm wrong sometimes. But I hope you're working on that depression, brother. I hope you're working on what's causing that, either taking maybe a low dose antidepressant while you're doing therapy. And that's another thing, people. Let me just touch on that real quick. If you're expecting antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication to cure you and it'll relieve some of the symptoms, but it ain't going to get to the causes. So Rasmus, you got to get into what is why are you severely depressed? I mean, you're talking about severe, sorry, I don't know why my mouth is so dry, but I don't know what kind of severe depression you're talking about. I don't know if you're having, suicidal ideations or what's stemming from the depression, bro. But if you've had severe depression most of your life and you're not working on it, that's like saying to me, and, imagine I'm an oncologist and you're saying to me, well, dude, I've had severe cancer most of my life. I mean, you don't drop that bomb into an oncologist's lap and expect them to be like, oh, that's cool. I mean, you're saying severe depression, brother. I hope you're working on that. I hope you're trying to get to the root of roots of what is causing the depression. Because I don't know if you've had early childhood trauma. I don't know if you've had sexual abuse. I don't know if you've had loss. I don't know what, many of the other causes for depression. But if you're identifying that you've had severe depression most of your life, I don't know how old you are, dude. I'm thinking, 20s or 30s, but you might be older. I hope you're following up. Okay, yes, you're a guy. Give me a little background, Rasmus, real quick. We have a few more minutes here. I'll end with you. How long have you had the depression? Did you have any trauma? Are you working on it? Are you taking any medication? Are you aware of some of the causes of your depression? Holidays haven't ever changed the degree of depression for me. Oh, okay. Okay. So the depression just continues through the holidays. So Rasmus, are you on medication? Have you figured out what's causing the depression? Do you have are there sexuality issues? I mean, when you say you're depressed, were you teased a lot? Did you witness trauma like Aaron was talking about before, coming home and finding his roommate dead on the couch? I mean, that will cause some depression. So what I would encourage you, brother, is you got to get into why you have severe depression. Okay, you got to tell yourself it's okay that I'm depressed, but you got to start figuring out why you're depressed. A lot of people think like, oh, well, 18 years at least. Wow. A lot of people think, oh, well, I've been depressed my whole life, so I'm going to be depressed forever. That's bullshit. Excuse my language. You don't have to be depressed your whole life. There are ways to deal with these mental illnesses, people. This is why I'm doing these live streams. People do not need to suffer their whole lives thinking that there's no cure to any of this. The problem that we have in our society is people don't want to talk about what they're depressed about. People don't even like to admit that they're depressed. They don't like to deal with it because it causes them to feel weak. It causes them to feel insecure. It causes them to feel negative emotions. And again, we live in a culture. Don't talk about your negativity, man. Be your best self. Come on, you're only focusing on the negative. It's just such garbage. It's such garbage as a mental health person to read what I call social media mental health. These self-helpers out there, these people who have zero damn training, excuse my language, I get worked up, in mental health, and they're giving people mental health advice about how to deal with their negative emotions by ignoring them, by ignoring their negative emotions. Well, here's a good idea. Go to your oncologist, tell your oncologist you have depression, and your treatment plan is to ignore it. They're going to look at you like, the hell are you talking about? By severe depression, I mean severe suicidal, every second thinking about why am I still alive? It's a miracle that I have never acted on these thoughts. I know the root cause. Okay, beautiful, dude. If you know the root cause, knowing is the first step, Rasmus. I feel you, brother. And I feel your pain. The fact that every second you're thinking about ending your life, bro, that needs work. That needs, thanks, Samantha, saying preach it. Sorry. I get worked up, people, because the amount of crap that is being pumped into people's minds about how to deal with their negative emotions is ridiculous. This let it go bullshit, excuse my language again, about just let go of your negative emotions. Oh, just let it go is a load of nonsense. You can't, the people who are telling you to let go of your negativity have no idea how to deal with it. So their default is just to say, let it go. Sorry, let me get back to Rasmus. Rasmus, my brother, if you know the root cause of why you're depressed, you got to work on that. You got to start talking that out. Okay? You got to start dealing with that. You can work on your depression. You can feel better. You can get alleviation to the pain. People believe that, oh, it's never going to end. The more you believe the pain is not going to end, guess what? That becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy. Rasmus, if you know the root cause, my brother, start working on it. Start talking it out. Give yourself massive doses of the it's okay pill. What's the it's okay pill? It's okay that I still feel like killing myself. It's okay that I feel these negative feelings. It's okay. You can't keep hating yourself for feeling this way, Rasmus. Whatever you're going through, brother, I guarantee you is not suicide worthy. The reason you want to kill yourself, bro, and again, tell me if I'm wrong. Don't just let me go off here. But the reason you want to kill yourself is because you're feeling hopeless. I lived in a country where my rights were being ignored. I could be killed if I were to say what I think and believe. I'm trying hard. Oh, you live in a country, or you lived, I don't know, but I killed if I were to say what I think and believe. I'm trying hard to end the relationship with the country and leave the country. Well, that's difficult, my brother. So I'm guessing you're living in some country now where free speech or your belief system is contrary to the ideologies of the government. That's a difficult friggin' thing to be in, bro. I feel you. But Rasmus, okay? You can't give into the negativity and think that's all there is, brother. What I'm feeling from you is you've been so oppressed by what's going on in your, thank you, Samantha. Good. Praying. Samantha's praying for you. Great. But Rasmus, what I'm thinking is you've been so inundated by this stuff most of your life that you genuinely feel that there's no cure, there's no hope. Let me tell you something about hopelessness real quick before I sign off here. And I'm not trying to cut you off, but these things over an hour, people generally don't tune into them. So, and find the country where I can call home, but I don't have much hope that citizenship, et cetera, will ever get sorted. Well, look, man, we're entering a new, whether you're right, left, or whatever, there's going to be different immigration policies. A lot of this, I don't want to get into all that because I don't want to get off on that. But look, things are changing. Reapply for your citizenship at Rasmus. Hopelessness relies on you being psychic. Okay, my brother? For you to feel hopeless, you need to convince yourself that you know the future is bleak and will never get better. What I'm asking you to do is allow for the possibility that whatever is affecting you now may not be affecting you that much into the future. Okay? We've got to try to find a way to give you some hope, meaning not hope like, oh, everything's great and my life's great because I'm living in a country where I can't be myself. I'm not talking about that kind of hope. That's social media hope. I'm talking about this kind of hope, okay? It's possible I can feel better down the road. It's possible I can work on some of this. It's possible this can heal. Whatever's in me can heal. It's possible that that can heal. That's the kind of hope I'm talking about, bro. Okay, if you said, I know the root cause. So I don't know if it's the country, religion, cultural conditioning you went through that is causing you to be, I don't know if there's some sexuality issues. I don't know if there's something else going on, but if your goal, if that's the whole thing that's causing you to be depressed, what I'm guessing is the depression is feeding on your belief that it will never get better. It's never, I'm always going to be like this. The minute we convince ourselves that we are always going to be this way, we are lying to ourselves, people. We are convincing ourselves that we're psychic, meaning we know the future when we do not know the future. Okay, Rasmus, you got to try to hang in there. You got to try to work on some of those root causes, brother, that is causing you to be severely depressed. I don't know what your country you're in. I'm not asking you to tell me because I would imagine you don't want to, but I don't know what the mental health services are. I don't know how they look at people who are depressed. You know, a lot of it's not only the USA, the good old USA, that stigmatizes mental health. We're getting better, but some other countries really stigmatize it because then you're possessed and they bring in this religious component to your mental illness and all of this stuff. So Rasmus, I got to put my email address up here, but I don't have it on here shoot me. I don't know if you have Facebook, but again, you know, you can always shoot me a message through Facebook. You can comment on this video once it gets posted on YouTube, and then we can communicate a little bit. Absolutely. Mental illness is universal, Samantha. Absolutely. And everyone has a degree of mental illness, myself included. Everyone on this planet has a degree of mental illness, but people aren't working on it. But Rasmus, send me some private messages. Maybe we can chat. But dude, if you're thinking about killing yourself, man, over what's going on in your present, you got to ask yourself, why do I want to kill myself? Okay. And a lot of times the reason we want to kill ourselves is because we are feeling hopeless. Hopelessness is the number one cause of suicide. The number one cause of suicide. Well, basically, it was dangerous to be me and contradicts my belief that it should be a gift to be me, not a danger. I keep telling myself that I deserve much better than this. So I'm guessing there's definitely some sexuality, sexual identity issues going on with you, brother. And you're living in a country where that is like taboo beyond taboo. So I'm, you know, I know I have Muslim friends, I have Jewish friends, I have Japanese, Chinese, my wife's Korean. So I'm multicultural myself. So I get it. There's a cultural piece that's keeping you down. And bro, I'll leave you with this. But seriously, Rasmus, send me some messages so we can chat a little bit. No, you don't have to pay me. Don't worry about that. But send me some messages on YouTube and a way to communicate, and let's chat a little bit because I keep telling myself that I deserve much better than this. Bro, keep telling yourself that. Okay? But I don't feel that I can get what I deserve on the planet Earth. But you see, Rasmus, that's a false belief. You don't know that unless you're psychic. Okay? Samantha's chiming in. Rasmus, you're a human being and deserve to be loved. Right. But Rasmus, you got to work on your relationship with yourself, brother. Yeah, which is the root of my suicidality. Exactly. Because listen to what you said, bro. And you're not going to be cured tonight, Rasmus. This is just a little nudge. Okay, this is just a little nudge, but I don't feel that I can get what I deserve on the planet. What you just said, bro, you're pretending you're psychic. You're telling yourself you know the future. And listen, man, if you know the future, please give me the lotto numbers, okay? Please. If you know the future, please hook me up with the lotto numbers. I'm not trying to make light of what you're feeling. I'm trying to show you that you don't know the future, dude. You don't know the future. You do not know that down the road, you can find some peace. You can find a compatible mate. You can find a place or a place where you can be more of yourself. What you're going through, I know it feels suicide worthy, but it's not, because a lot of what you're going through is a belief that it's never going to get better. And people might say, well, dude, what is suicide worthy? Trust me, people, in my over 20 years of working with people, I've never had a client kill themselves, but I have worked with people who have suicide worthy problems in their life, chronic pain, illness, a major loss in their life, things that they feel they're never going to recover from. So I get it. But Rasmus, you do not know that you cannot get what you deserve on this planet. Okay? You do not know. I hear you, Samantha. Nothing is worth suicide. I hear you. But, Samantha, the problem with saying that is there are a lot of people who go through extreme amounts of pain and there's no hope and they're degenerating and degenerating and degenerating. Now, I'm not going to get into all that. Okay. I feel what you're saying, Samantha, and I appreciate your input because you're trying to help Rasmus. But Rasmus, okay, please, my brother, you've got to allow a little hope into your thinking. Not hope like, oh, everything's great and life is so wonderful. That's not the hope I'm saying. The hope I'm trying to give you is that you got to believe that it's possible you can heal, that you can feel better, that you can find an environment that you can be more yourself be more yourself with, okay? All right, Rasmus. So seriously, man, send me some private messages on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube after this video is posted, and we can email each other. But please, my brother, okay, I don't know what your belief system is about suicide, but you got to look at, if you're a believer in God, that you're basically killing the image of God, and we need to allow yourself some time to work on this pain you're feeling, bro. The pain is convincing you that there's no hope. The pain you're in, it's like when you're sick, you're not thinking, oh, I feel great, because you feel sick. That sickness is making you feel bad. But if you remind yourself, oh, it's because I have the flu or coronavirus or whatever it is, your pain, the pain you feel about yourself, brother, is causing you to feel that there's no hope. You got to work on that pain a little bit, bro. You got to work. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because you got that cultural piece of every day feeling like if people find out about you or whatever it may be. Send me some private messages, okay, on YouTube. Let's connect a little bit. We can do some video sessions or whatever on me. Don't worry about that. I'll work it out. If you're at a point where you're feeling suicidal over this, let's talk a little bit and let's work on it a little bit, because it's the pain. Remember, I talked about unhealed emotional wounds. If I have an unhealed cut on my hand and I don't work on it, it starts pumping out infection into my body. It's the same thing with unhealed emotional wounds, brother. You got to work on it. Okay. So I'll look out for your message. Please keep tuning in. If you're not comfortable communicating with me, that's cool. I'm on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Mountain Time in the US. Please keep tuning in. Okay. So again, everybody, thank you for all your comments. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, please subscribe to my Facebook or YouTube pages, because then you can get a notification when I'm on live. And again, remember, everybody has a degree of mental illness. Okay, people? No problem, man. There's many kind people in the world, Rasmus, but you got to start being kinder to Rasmus. You got to stop sending yourself kill messages, bro, because that is freaking your inner world out. It's like, you're sending the, oh, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to kill myself. And that's causing your anxiety to go off the roof. I mean, at a very core level, you're making constant threats on your own physical integrity. And guess what you're feeling? Elevated levels of anxiety and fear. Okay. So connect with me. We'll figure it out. Don't give up. Don't give up. The pain you're feeling can heal. The pain you're feeling can heal. Okay. But you got to work on it. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Again, my name's Dr. Stephen Walker. I am on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. Please tune in and please work on your mental illness, people. We all have a degree of mental illness, trust me, but we need to work on it. Okay. So if you're catching this live, please subscribe to my Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We need to normalize conversations about mental illness. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you Wednesday night, trying to line up a guest, and we'll keep the ball rolling. All right, guys, take it easy. Rasmus, my brother, I'm looking out for a comment from you on YouTube. Okay. You all have a good night. I'll see you Wednesday night. Take it